This talk is going to be about employee turnover, okay? Employee turnover, think of it. But first, if you're okay, close your eyes, and I want you to think of a time when you might have had a little financial stress in your life, okay? And financial stress. So think of a time maybe you were in college, out of college, you were at a grocery store. Have you ever had your card decline? Have you ever had an issue? Have you ever had, because a lot of times what happens is we get into our lives and we forget. We forget, but now we're in charge of employees. Now we're in charge of teams. Now we're in charge of people. But we forgot what it was like because we have a job. We're managers, we're directors, we're VPs, we're executives, we got our life going and we figured it out. But what about the others? Okay, so that's kind of the stage and the nature of what I want you to do. So my name is R.W. Holleman. I was at the dinner last night and nobody wanted to talk about employee turnover last night. Everybody wanted to talk about my organic farm. Okay, so I live on a farm in Greenville, Texas. I have more kids than cows right now. I got a lot of kids. And we run a school out there. It's kind of crazy. So we run a school. We have people, the kids come out a few days a week and it's exciting. It's an awesome life. So I'm very fortunate, right? So that's a little bit about me. I am been at DailyPay, now my company, for 3 years. I was kind of semi-retired. I'm not bragging, I just was. I think I didn't have a job. But I had a friend that called me and he said, hey, come help me at DailyPay. So that's what I did. So I went, I've been there 3 years, and DailyPay just started about 5.5 years ago, right? And it's grown like crazy. It's grown because the next thing I want you to know about is a word. Just think about this word, empathy, okay? If you don't know what that is, come see us at our booth over there. But empathy, right? We don't have that sometimes. We don't remember it. But I believe what I'm going to talk about today is empathy, okay? So I'm going to go on here, and I have to read this, so you are going to see my glasses, all right? So a few years back, Gallup did some research and uncovered that companies in the United States lose $1 trillion per year to employee turnover. They lose $1 trillion, okay? So that $1 trillion, I know you don't even believe me, trillion's a lot, right? And that incredible number, it still isn't capturing the full cost of replacing lost talent. You see, the cost of employee turnover is not just a concern for HR departments, it's a substantial burden on the financial health of the company, impacting the productivity of every single employee. So employee turnover is an issue, right? Do you know who SHRM is? The Society of Human Resources Management. Our friends at SHRM, they even did the math for us. So they calculated that it costs 6 to 9 months worth of employee salary, right, to replace someone that leaves. So if, for example, they have an employee making $60,000 a year, it costs $45,000 to hire and train their replacement, okay? So why is it so expensive? Well, let's start with recruiting. What has to happen? A lot of managers in here today. What has to happen when you recruit somebody else? Advertising costs, all the time and effort spent by the HR personnel, hiring managers, reviewing applications, conducting interviews, evaluating candidates. Then you have training, onboarding costs, right? And don't forget the productivity loss. The knowledge and experience gap you're dealing with, you have that loss of expertise, institutional knowledge, right? And don't forget about the customer relationships that go out the door. You got to rekindle those. You got to replace those, right? So that's what we're talking about, right? The impact to employee morale, engagement. Does this lead to uncertainty, increased workload, reduced trust, leading to decreased productivity, and there it is, potential turnover of other employees, okay? Because now they're stressed. okay? It's not all doom and gloom, I promise, okay? So while we technically no longer in the throes of the trend, what did they call it? The Great Resignation, right? Remember that? Is that still a thing? Well, but we are faced, guys, we're faced with employee retention challenges. For example, and I'm gonna give a lot of data, and if you don't believe me or whatever, I'll give you my sources. So if you come see me at the booth after this or whatever, I can provide you with a list of where I got this data, right? So for example, the convenience retail industry had an average turnover rate for part-time associates at 152%, okay? 152%. For the aviation industry, such as American Airlines, those are, I think you're here, right? Southwest Airlines. There's research shows annual staff turnover at 20% in customer service and cabin crew. And according to the International Air Transport Association in 2023, turnover rates are as high as 50% in ground handling, okay? So I also know we have folks from FedEx and UPS here today. Welcome. So I'm not leaving you out. A recent survey found that the average turnover rate in the logistics industry is around 31%. But some positions, such as truck drivers, warehouse workers, high as 90 to 100% on the driver's side yearly turnover. 90 to 100%. That's not just a problem. What is that? That's an epidemic. 100%. So what's going on? Let's take a look at why are they quitting? Why? They don't like you? No, I don't think so. Lovely people in this room. Really nice people. Why are they quitting? Well, according to Purdue University, finances are the number one cause of stress and anxiety for employees 73% more than the work itself. So finances cause stress and anxiety. And FinFit did a survey and found that 6 out of 10 workers with financial stress plan on what? They plan on leaving their jobs. 6 out of 10. Financial stress. That's the problem. At DailyPay, that's the problem we keep hearing over and over and over from our clients. We've seen the numbers. Okay? So what's the solution, right? We've seen the numbers. Let's go to this one. There you go. So financial stress costs U.S. companies $4.7 billion per week. Again, there's those numbers again. But $4.7 billion a week, that's a cost. What are we doing about it? What is the solution? I said the name of this was a no-cost solution. I'm going to get there. So we know the simple answer of paying them more. So we've seen it. I'm going to give you a $1 raise per hour. We're going to give you everybody across the board a 5% bonus. They're still stressed, right? They're still stressed. So it's not because we've learned financial stress comes from a lack of control over their finances. It's not necessarily how much they have or how much they've earned. It's about the access to the funds when you need it the most. So let's go back here. So now you see Americans say, a third of American consumers say it has been somewhat to very difficult, a third, for them to pay their usual bills in the last 7 days. I mean, not surprisingly, that's the debt, right? The credit card debt that's been racking up, right? The health of the American consumer is key to a thriving U.S. economy. So don't know politically who you vote for, what you believe in. I'm not asking. But I'm saying the health of our American consumer, the financial health, is key to the thriving of a U.S. economy. But the American worker is being challenged like never before to pay those bills on time. They don't wait. So to remedy this problem, they're bouncing from job to job. They're taking on gig jobs. They're driving for Uber at night. They're helping DoorDash, deliver food. They're taking on these jobs like that. They're trying to make ends meet to pay those bills that keep coming up on time, to avoid late fees, to avoid this never-ending cycle of debt. So here's my speechwriter. He writes, because bills wait for no one. There you go. I delivered it. When a bill needs to be paid today, many times just 1 or 2 days before payday, the American worker has to have the means and liquidity to pay that bill. If it has to be paid, they've got to pay it. So what are they doing? The ability to pay the bill can come down to one thing: the timing of your pay. I got to pay the bill, the timing of my pay. Now, there's other financial disciplines that need to be, but we're not there yet, right? Listen, in a perfect world, your bills would align perfectly, right, with your scheduled payday. Bills on the 15th, excellent. Bills on the 31st or 30th, excellent. That's awesome. But also in a perfect world, everybody know Dak Prescott? In a perfect world, Dak Prescott is throwing touchdowns to me in the Super Bowl. Look at me. I look like a receiver, I'm very, very trim. All right. Not funny. Okay. In a real world, our employees are having to resort to what? Payday and 401k loans now. I don't know, I would ask, I'd poll the room and I'd think, are you seeing an uptake in 401k loans being taken out? Maybe, maybe not. Or pay exorbitant overdraft fees to make ends meet. We'll just pay the NSF fee. We'll just pay the overdraft fee. We'll just pay it and pay it and pay it and pay it. That's why banks had that for a while, the billions and billions of dollars. Okay? So the inability to pay these bills on time, they drive this financial stress, which in turn eventually, like I said, drives them out of their job. And then that drives up recruitment costs for you, right? Okay, back to me, right? It's all about me. There's a no-cost solution, there really is, to help you. A no cost, right? It's proven, this solution's proven to help increase employee tenure, proven to increase productivity, and the volume of applications you'll have when you're recruiting. And best of all, it empowers your employees with choice and control over their finances to pay their bills on time. They can spend, but they can also save, all on their own schedule. Not a scheduled payday, right? So no longer do they have to hope to align their pay with their bills. Got it? And that, my friends, can I call you friends? That, my friends, is earned wage access. Okay? So if we say EWA, it's earned wage access. That's a real deal. So with the employer-sponsored financial wellness benefit of earned wage access, your employees can access their pay as they earn it. It's not a loan. Ain't that a loan? No, it's not a loan. It's not an advance. Is that not an advance? No, it's not an advance. It's the money they have already earned. We just help provide the access. And all that access, let's see here. Is he ever going to end this speech? Hold, please. Okay, more data. I knew you, for those of you taking notes, ready? Employee Benefits News did some research on our users. We have millions of users. They found 69% of the users who previously paid late fees do this less often or stop completely since they started using DailyPay. They learned 62% of users who previously incurred credit card interest charges do this less often or stop completely since they started using DailyPay. They learned that 72% of DailyPay users helps them feel more confident about managing their finances. That's important, 72%. In fact, a different study found that 95% of those who were previously reliant on payday loans, 95%, in any way, they stopped using payday loans or they reduced use. After using, you got it, DailyPay. So remember how we talked about financial stress? Remember that? Remember? Okay. Remember how we talked about debt, 401k, and payday loans? With DailyPay, they are paying fewer late fees. They have less debt, no longer using payday loans as a way to pay bills. What they are doing is living a better financial life. And you know what else? You guessed it. They're staying on the job longer. Longer. Right? 30% of employees say they've seen a reduction in employee turnover since implementing DailyPay. 42% of employers say they have a higher satisfaction and morale in their company since implementing, right, DailyPay. So 45% of employees say they either stop looking for a new job completely or less often. They're happier, more engaged, more productive, more loyal, and they are more so working for you, right? They're not taking sick days, or they're not quitting. Drive an Uber, take a gig job that pays them today because they need the money today. They got it. They're not asking their supervisor to float them alone until the next payday. They're not asking for that. Because with earned wage access, you can access your earned pay at any time for, if it's immediate, very small fee or no fee at all. No fee at all. Because as we like to say, DailyPay starts working the minute work starts. Last paragraph, and I will end, I promise. In a world where inflation is still stubbornly high and the cost of life seems to keep going up, we must arm our employees with every tool available to help them navigate through these uncertain economic times. The financial wellness benefit of earned wage access can help you. It empowers them. It provides them the flexibility they need over their finances so they can bring the best version of themselves to work. And in turn, it can help your company be the best version it needs to be. So I go back to the word empathy. At our dinner last night, I shared that we were talking about DE&I, and we said, hey, let's talk about this. And we talked that earned wage access is an inclusion benefit, right? Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody struggles with financial stress at one time in their life, no matter what. So we are the DE&I play in a lot of the companies we serve. We also are an empathy play, an empathy benefit. Because you don't know who needs this. You don't know the walk a mile in your moccasins thing, right? You don't know. But if you're about the people and you're about their heart, who they are, then you might consider this today. That's all I got, and I appreciate your time today and hope it was meaningful and you felt it. Take care.